Hello and welcome to the December Dillon Dialogue. I'm Kerstin Anderson, Director of Marketing and Communications for the Town of Dillon. I'm here with Council Member Carolyn Skowyra today and Council Member Brad Bailey. How's everyone doing?
We're doing good.
Excited to get a little snow?
Yeah, the snow is nice. Winter's finally here, so.
I skidded off the road today. I think I need new tires.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
And you went skinning.
And I skinned, not
Very
on the
good.
road,
Very good.
up at A Basin this morning, so.
Wonderful.
Got a little exercise in, and now here we are.
Good view. I drove my husband around from physical therapy.
That's right. Your husband needs some help this week, doesn't he?
Typical Summit County folk with bum knees.
So back to Dillon news. Let's talk, as we usually do. How about giving us a budget update?
Yeah, we just approved our 2018 budget at the December, it says 19th, so we're going to approve it. So we've done the first and second reading, so it's almost approved. It will be approved probably by the time you see this, and we're feeling pretty good about it. Sales tax is up for October, despite having such a beautiful fall and no winter season until just now. Sales tax is up, and we're sitting pretty in Dillon.
We're always glad to see sales tax numbers up. It bodes well for the county, bodes well for the Front Range, frankly, because that's where a lot of our folks, plus the out-of-state folks, come from, and it just allows staff and council and everybody else to put a lot of extra work, and also we end up with stuff that we can afford for our constituents.
Yeah, absolutely. Project that we're kicking off here that we're pretty excited about is the Capstone Project. And why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I'd be happy to. So we submitted an application to Denver's graduate program for architecture
And planning.
And all of their graduate students do a capstone project or a thesis, and we applied for one of these things and identified a few areas in town that we thought, hey, this would be a great opportunity for you guys to come in and look at it and see what we can do in Dillon. So we were chosen, and one of the students, or a group of students, is going to be doing a visual representation of our comprehensive plan. So basically taking everything we have written down in words as what we see the future of Dillon, and they're going to give us a digital product that says, hey, if you put a building here that fits in your code, this is what it's going to look like in a little, I don't know, computer program or a YouTube video. I don't know what it's called. I live in like 1980 as far as technology, so that's about as far as I can take that description. But it's going to be neat, and it's going to see what we could potentially have in Dillon. The next thing they're going to be doing is giving us, the 3D modeling, identify areas that we could improve our plan, so where we could have better use for our space.
They'll be looking at those land uses and what's appropriate, and sort of doing an economic analysis of the area to say what will fit best and align with Dillon's identity best. And then doing some outreach with the community and some presentations as part of that.
As you may well know, Dillon has been working on redeveloping, reinvigorating our downtown core for a long time. We think we're finally getting some traction, but we want to make sure we get it right. And this Capstone Project is one tool we're using. Staff uses a lot of tools, and council will use other tools. We've brought some architects on board to help us. Yep. We only have so much land that is developable. We want to again double check with the public, architects again, staff and council, to make sure as we think future development will come along that we've done everything we can to make it as best we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd really like to see that mountain lake style come to life on the North Shore.
Yeah.
That's right. We do, and you can see that some projects are underway. Obviously, the Amphitheater is well underway. We've had a great fall.
That's right. I think they have the roof up now. The roof is on the Amphitheater. I think the facades on the buildings are done.
Correct.
So
take a walk down there. It's pretty interesting.
And get ready for next summer. It should be good.
It's going to be amazing. So we're looking to open. Council just had a conversation about next summer's events plans and the timeline. Do you guys want to give an update on that?
Sure. We've always had forever with amphitheaters free Friday and Saturday shows. We are going to continue them. We're thinking about taking a stab at a off Friday, Saturday night show.
Maybe a Sunday.
Maybe a Sunday, Thursday morning. No, probably not. With more of a national act to see how that might work with our beautiful new building. We haven't firmed up those plans yet, but we've always felt that that might be something to try. While we keep obviously those Friday and Saturday night shows free. And we have a new concession building and obviously a new bathroom building, and we're looking forward to all that.
So get ready to not stand in the bathroom line when you're at the amphitheater in Dillon. And then when you're planning your summer vacation, we're hoping to be done by June 15th. We're going to do a soft opening at the beginning of July.
Yep.
And then do the first couple shows, run through, make sure we've got everything down, and then at the end of July, big grand opening show.
Yeah.
So don't go out of town the last weekend in July. Just go to
stay
Dillon.
To the North Shore.
Go to the North Shore.
It is going to be amazing. So July 28th, I think, is that weekend. It's going to be a bigger named act, yet to be determined. It's going to be a free show, and it's going to be a fun party. So we can't wait to show off our new amphitheater and have everyone experience the ease of the facility, because really what a lot of these improvements were about were improving the lines of sight, making it better for the talent who comes, of course increasing the bathrooms and
Keeping grass stains off your butt.
That's right.
Because the grass now has been lowered. It's just not as steep.
Right.
That's right. You don't need to bring your skis anymore when you go to the amphitheater.
And your youngest child doesn't tumble as far anymore.
That's right. It should be really great, and we've opened up a lot of new spaces for people, so bring it on. Bring it on to the amphitheater, and you're really going to like
We
it.
can't wait. We really can't.
Yep. Stay tuned. So
Other projects?
yeah, let's talk about other projects that are going on, and the main one being sort of workforce housing and new inventory that's coming to Dillon.
Two new projects. Yep.
I was talking with Carolyn before the show, and Carrie McDonnell, our finance director, was just polling. We always say that we're 70% second homeowner, 30% full-time resident, and Carrie was pulling some information from the assessor's office as we try and look at our housing inventory, the makeup of that. We're also doing a lot of work around short-term rentals and making sure that people who are in short-term rental programs are paying into taxes, and sort of there's a level playing field there. But as she did that research, we're actually at 78% second homeowner and 22% full-time resident. So having places for year-round workforce housing is really an important goal of council.
That's right. So of those two projects you mentioned, Brad, we've got one that is 50% workforce housing in apartments, and they're all long-term. So I think there's definitely potential to get 18 families or 18 folks moved in there and have them become part of Dillon and be full-time. And then at the second development, it's going to end up with 12 units overall that are specifically slated for people who work in the county. So everyone's open to get the rest of those, and I certainly hope that they do. But it'll be nice to see the next 40 families move into Dillon.
Yeah, and take a drive over by the movie theaters in Dillon. The first set of buildings, they're putting the roof on the first two, and the second floor is on the third building. And then over in Dillon proper, they were digging a big hole today in preparation for concrete. In the wintertime, bring it on.
Yeah, it's really coming together quickly. And the nice thing too about not only are we bringing new full-time residents to Dillon who can of course come to our council meetings on the first and third Tuesday of every month and apply for committees.
Please do.
Like our
Planning and zoning, which meets on the first Wednesday of every month, and we are actively seeking a Dillon resident to join the Planning and Zoning Committee. So if you're interested,
yes, contact Town Hall.
Contact Town Hall.
Nice.
It's a fun group, trust me.
Yeah, you used to chair that committee.
That's right. You were the king of planning and zoning for a long time.
Right. Probably should have stayed there.
You
Just
can go
joking.
back.
Just joking.
Well,
You
so
can
in,
never go back.
in addition to that, the apartments are for people who are working within the town of Dillon. So that's actually a really nice benefit to our restaurants and different outlets that are struggle to find people who can live and work up here.
That's right. It's going to be a nice local spot, and they're giving priority to folks who work in Dillon. And we have a lot of businesses in Dillon right now. So if you're working at the REI or the City Market or the new Sun and Ski, where else? Anywhere. There's so many places in Dillon that we could have people, and all those people get first dibs at this housing. So.
And it's wonderful to see it. All the towns are working, of course, across the county. Frisco, Breck, Silverthorne, and Blue River, they're all working to come up with individual projects. Some of them, they're working together. Some of them are standalone projects. It's something that the cities and towns have figured out that we need to do to protect our, not just the people who live and work here, but to protect the businesses so that they can hire people at reasonable wages and keep our high quality of living. And we think we're making progress.
Right. Speaking of new businesses, Carolyn, you mentioned a few of them, the REI, the Christie Sports. That is, talk a little bit about that project.
So Christie Sports came to us, and their idea is to turn their Dillon store into a flagship store. So they're going to be shutting down in April, is what I've heard. They're going to close down the store and then rebuild something amazing, and it's going to be a flagship store. And I think, man, we're just going to be more lucky in Dillon to have such a great spot for them that they've been in for so long, and now they want to reinvest in our community. So,
Christie Sports family has been around for a long time, particularly here on the Front Range, obviously. And again, as a flagship store, we've seen the blueprints that we approved. They're gorgeous. They're modern, lots of glass. They've turned the orientation around to put it toward US 6 as opposed to kind of backwards the way it used to was. And the building is frankly beautiful.
make a little better use of the space they have there and the parking, and it's going to work better for everyone.
Right. And that was interesting too, because like usually you have a back of a house with a building, but because how that sits on the lot, they really did a lot of work to make sure it was beautiful from all angles and perspectives.
We should probably, it's not on here, but we should probably do an update on the election.
Oh yeah.
Right, so we had 3 issues on the ballot.
Correct.
And one of them passed. We opted out of Senate Bill 152, which for those of you at home, what you were voting for is that is going to allow Dillon, if an opportunity comes up to improve wireless or broadband services in the future, Dillon can now take part in that.
Correct.
In that program. And Senate Bill 152 before limited us completely. We weren't able at all, with the town or any governments would not be able to help or contribute to any sort of project involving the internet.
Should our other public companies not step up to the plate, like they have been, but in case they backed out, our hands would have been tied.
Right.
Yep. The second one was something to do with Colorado Mountain College. They wanted.
Right, and so that was Colorado Mountain College was looking to
a little more money somehow.
looking at their funding.
I think they just wanted approval to spend some money, something like that. I don't exactly know what that one was. But the third one, which did not pass, and I think we should talk about, is 5A. So last year, or 2 years last year,
Yeah, a year ago.
a year ago, the community voted and approved a 0.6 sales tax increase.
Countywide, yes.
Countywide. And that the funds from that tax increase were going to be distributed to all the towns, which they are. And then the towns are then obligated to use that money for workforce housing projects.
Correct.
And so we have this money, and because Dillon's small, our portion of it is a little bit smaller. And the question that didn't pass was, we were asking, can we bond out on this money and use it to leverage that money so we can actually invest in a workforce housing project
Quickly.
That was rather
what the
than
point was, yeah.
waiting for the $500,000 a year to add up
Correct.
to
In case a project
$12 million
came along.
for a project.
Right.
So that didn't pass, but hopefully we can get the word out a little better and then re-present that to the people, and hopefully we'll have a project lined up, and that way we can really hard and fast say, hey, we'd like to bond this out for this project, and then maybe It'll be a
by
lot easier
and
for
by
everyone.
bonding, that simply means you have the authority to borrow the money. You certainly don't take the money and put it into a checking account until a project is ready to go for financing. It's just being able to be flexible and to be prepared so that in today's world, we can act quicker than maybe we have in the past.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and I think so 8.23% is the percentage that Dillon gets out of that overall 5A pool. And it actually does add up pretty quickly. And so one of the things as we submitted as part of the Capstone Project, we sort of broke it into 3 pieces. And the piece that you were talking about earlier was the one piece. Well, the college came back to us after that and said, oh, there's so much going on in Dillon. We think that we could do a summer studio there, which are actually held abroad typically, but
Correct.
there's a lot of desire for students, as you can imagine, in the city wanting to do a summer project.
Yeah.
So we are actually moving forward to do
Yeah.
a summer studio in Dillon, which will kick off in sort of June and run through August. While we're still hammering out what the exact scope is of that project, looking at workforce housing and analyzing different sites is one of those components. And so I think that'll be helpful to have a more solid vision for
Good
what we
point.
might want to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've been working with the Housing Authority, and they have analyzed some sites that are actually across Highway 6 from Dillon, not technically part of our town, but adjacent.
Yeah.
And so those will be sites that we'll be looking at. And
Yeah.
then hopefully, you know, we'll come to voters again with this question, and we'll probably have some work done with site analysis, sort of looking at the right type of product mix and things like that.
So I think what we're saying is we hear you.
Yeah.
We hear you. We got the message, and we're taking steps, and we are actively taking steps towards giving you a product that everyone can get behind. So
Yeah.
And we're doing a lot of work with architects to make sure that those physical buildings are attractive
that's right, and fit into our.
up to design standards that we finally got adopted
Yeah.
through a lot of work that you did. I know. Thank you very much. We
Yeah.
all were involved in
Lots
that.
of fun.
What about the ice castles?
Oh my gosh, finally the weather is conducive.
There's finally ice in Dillon.
So yeah, tough early winter for making ice this year, but it's amazing how quickly if you guys have been walking past it,
Yeah.
that it's
You
kind of
bet.
like tripling in size. And so if you get a chance, stop by because it's really cool to watch.
Emerging out of the ground.
Dillon Town Park.
And that's going to have a maze and slides and a cathedral building with a fountain and all kinds of really cool stuff. So they are working fast and furiously, and they're hoping to be open December 22nd.
Oh, good.
So you can go
That's
to icecastles.com/Dillon, and they have pricing information. I think there's a Groupon out right now for it. And starting in another week here,
Yeah.
they'll be doing tours. Channel 9 News just featured it. I know that
Oh, really?
Matt Kroschel from Channel 4 had been out talking about it. So there's a lot of, I get Facebook inquiries all the time. When is it going to open? And
It's going to be
there's-
great, and
yeah.
hopefully it's a big success. And if it is, maybe we'll have it for a couple more years in the future.
Yeah, so what's also kind of nice is as we had some of the water in the warm water sort of run off, we were able to dig trenches, and it really didn't affect the park because we know we're doing some work in there next spring
That's
for
right.
Right.
the town park master plan. And then we're also able to talk to them, as to partner with them, as we're putting in some of this drainage, can we do something that helps recycle that water,
The water for
and
next
do a
year,
pump
yeah.
and just be all that more efficient
That's right.
with those
We have
resources.
a great public works department, and they are out there killing it and working really hard with the Ice Castles guys to make sure that all the logistics during this 40-degree weather still work to their advantage to put those castles up. So
I'm glad they haven't had to plow snow because it would have been one or the other, plow water or plow snow. But it's finally
But now we
coming together.
they worked together, they put in a fix that improved it quite a bit, and now they're ready to.
And right now they're using less water than they thought they were going to.
Yeah.
So we're feeling good about that. So next year, if we're using less water and we're recirculating it,
Yeah.
it's going to be a win-win.
Right, really great, lots of fun.
Do we get free passes?
Probably not. But I think they're reasonable.
I don't think they're expensive.
Well, that's really all we had planned today. Is there anything else?
Oh, there was one other thing. We do have a development proposal in front of Town Council on January 16th.
That's right. So we can't talk too much about it because it's been submitted and it's in a quasi-judicial standing, but we do want to encourage the community to come out as part of the public hearing and share their thoughts.
Come share their thoughts on a fairly substantial development project in Dillon. We'd love to see you there.
Great. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next month.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy
Hanukkah.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Happy holidays.
Is that what I have to say? Happy holidays.